On behalf of Girl Child Network and our founder and trustees, say a massive thank you to Ms. Sharon Jackson.
Yeah.
It's kind of infectious, yeah. I was telling Sharon earlier that she's like a magnet. She is indeed like a magnet. There's something about her that draws you to her. And on behalf of Mjai, Betty and myself, I'd like to say real thank you. In Yoruba, I would say adupe. In Shona, I would say ndatenda. In Greek, I'll have to learn what I have to say. But from the bottom of our hearts, we're really grateful. Girl Child Network Worldwide was set up over 20 years ago by a young woman in a little village just like this, in the heart of southern Africa, a country called Zimbabwe. She obviously knew what it was to be abused as a young girl, or to lose a parent, or to be disadvantaged, or to suffer poverty, or just not to be able to do those things that you want to do, especially when you have big brains. In other words, you're very academically gifted. And therefore she struggled through life. And eventually, as a young girl who graduated, in a classroom, she decided to start a girls' club. I think she started with about 10 girls. And from there, it grew and grew and grew. And she set up empowerment villages, what we call empowerment villages. Just like you have here, she has about 4 of them in different parts of Zimbabwe. And she did that from the village. So when we look at the history and the journey of Girl Child Network, usually when you look at big charities, they are in the cities. They're either in London or in New York or in Athens or Alexandria or what have you. But starting something from a village takes a certain kind of passion. It also takes a certain kind of belief. You really believe in this thing you want to do. And it takes a certain kind of understanding. You know how people in that situation feel. Why? Because you've either been there yourself or you have aligned yourself with them to be able to understand. I always say that nobody can tell the story of a place or a people except the main actors. You must have sat where they sat, felt their pain, understand their anxieties, partook in their, joys and celebrations, before you can say, well, I think I'm an expert in that particular, area of life. So this young woman set up this organization and eventually became a full-fledged charity. She became the top CNN hero in 2009 because of the work she had quietly been doing. I'd always say that what she's been able to do for girls around the world, a lot of leaders in the world have not even done 1/10 of that, even though they have all the abilities and facilities to do that. And therefore, when I came on board as chair of the charity a few years ago, I saw in this young woman, and I saw in the vision that she was driving, something that resonated with me as a princess. I'm a granddaughter of a Nigerian king, and I'm the firstborn and first daughter, and I have the title bearer. So for me, I have a role to play in community. I have a role to play, with people, especially women and children. In particular, those who are vulnerable. And therefore, what this young woman was doing totally resonated with my spirit and my heart. And I felt, yes, this is something I will take on, full force. I'm very proud to say today that we have looked after over 375,000 girls across the globe.
Wow. Whoa!
And the beauty about, or do they say translation or I'm fine?
I think everyone speaks English now.
Good. The beauty about that sort of thing is you don't need to know someone to be able to help them. Especially now when we have the internet, technology is amazing, innovation is all over the place. At the click of a button, you can send a message, you can receive a message. So when young girls, contact us, You know, we've got the inbox on Facebook, we've got emails, we've got the magical phenomenon called WhatsApp, where you can send amazing, you know, large files of pictures and videos and whatnot. And that has really helped what we do. So what we do when we empower girls and we, you know, teach them soft skills and we help them raise funds for education, to enable them also know who they are and pursue their dreams. We have Girl Child Network in Sierra Leone, we have it in Ghana, we have it in Uganda, and of course in Zimbabwe itself, and it keeps growing. We have branches in Canada and in the USA, and of course we have our present headquarters in the United Kingdom in a lovely village called Basildon in Essex. So we are villagers. You know, the spirit of the village is beautiful because you're able to touch each other's lives. You're able to, in the cities people are too busy. But listen, in the villages you have time to stop by and say hello, good morning, how are you, how are you doing? We also ensure that every year there are things that we put in place. So in order to continuously raise funds for these girls that we look after, we have a variety of things. We have a wonderful website. All I always tell people about our website is just go there and knock yourselves out. You've got pages and pages of information. We're very open with what we do. Whatever monies are raised for us, for instance, what Ms. Jackson is doing today, you will be able to see where your money goes because you'll see who has been a beneficiary. We've got some wonderful girls, I call them our success stories, that this young lady, I'm going to tell you the name of this young lady I keep referring to, that she was able to pick them up. Some of them were orphans, some of them were just poor and just couldn't afford, you know, to go to school. Sometimes a girl can't even afford to buy sanitary towels. That's how bad it can be sometimes. There's no drinking water. And when you look specifically at Africa, where everything is there, oil, gold, diamonds, you start wondering, what's wrong with our leaders? But it just takes a human being like this young woman, you know, to effect change. And I always say we have to be that change we want to see. And she indeed has been that change that she's wanted to see. And I'll just hand over to her now. That young woman I've been talking about, who got raped when she was 6, whose mother was killed when she was 9, who buried her own brother, her baby brother, when she was 12, and then she had to become mum to all her siblings. But who then grew up to go and get 2 degrees in university, became the top girl in the whole of Zimbabwe during the exams, who set up the girls' club with 10 young girls as a teacher, who eventually set up Girl Child Network Worldwide and became an Ashoka Fellow, a CNN hero. She has over 45 national and international awards under her belt. One of the big magazines in the US, Time magazine, named her as one of the 150 women who shake the world, alongside Russia, Michelle, as we know her, who was, you know, married to the late Nelson Mandela, and Mrs. Hillary Clinton, and the likes. Ladies and gentlemen, in my capacity as chair of the charity, and also in my capacity as a Royal Highness, I would like to introduce to you my colleague, my friend, my sister, a woman whom I'm extremely proud of, a woman who I love to work with, Her Royal Highness Mujari Betty Makobi.
Oh, yes.